Imagine this for a moment. Every word you speak is like a seed. Some fall on barren ground and vanish. Others take root, grow, and become your reality. Now, what if I told you that out of the thousands of words you speak every single day, 2 words hold more power than all the rest combined? Those 2 words are I am, simple, ordinary, overlooked, yet hidden within them is a mystery so profound that ancient mystics treated it as sacred. A mystery so powerful that modern science is only beginning to understand its potential. But before we explore that power, let me leave you with a chilling thought. What if the life you're living right now, the struggles, the victories, the cycles that keep repeating, were created by the silent I am statements you've been making every day without even realizing it? Because whether whispered in confidence, spoken in frustration, or buried in your thoughts, every I am is an instruction to your reality. Throughout history, spiritual texts have warned us, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But behind that teaching lies a hidden law. As a man declares himself to be, so he becomes. Ancient sages believed I am was not just self-talk. It was a direct command to the universe. In the Bible, when Moses asked the divine name, the answer was, I am that I am. In the Vedas, the great statement, Aham Brahmasmi, means I am the absolute. Everywhere you look, traditions across cultures whisper the same truth. I am is not casual. I am is a key, a doorway, a force. But here's the suspense. Why would 2 ordinary words have such extraordinary impact? Today, neuroscience has discovered something shocking. The human brain is constantly shaping itself around self-identity statements. Every time you say, I am, your subconscious mind doesn't debate. It doesn't argue. It simply accepts. Say, I am confident. Your brain begins looking for proof. Say, I am worthless. Your brain obeys, reinforcing that identity. It doesn't matter if the statement is true or false. Your mind takes I am as a command. Think about that. 2 words, followed by whatever comes next, become the blueprint for your destiny. But let's pause here, because there's something unsettling you need to know. If I am is that powerful, then every careless statement, I am tired, I am unlucky, I am broken, might not just be words. They might be spells. Invisible instructions that shape the very life you're trying to escape. So ask yourself, what have you been saying after I am? And more importantly, who have you been becoming because of it? Consider this. Civilizations separated by oceans and centuries all treated I am as sacred. The Egyptians taught that the divine self could be invoked with I am. In Jewish mysticism, Asher Haye, I am that I am, was considered the most holy of names. Eastern mystics meditated on affirmations of self. I am peace, I am truth, I am eternal. Coincidence? Or did they all tap into the same hidden truth? That language doesn't just describe reality, it creates it. And here's where the mystery deepens. Modern physics tells us that reality itself is not solid. It's vibrating energy, shaped by the observer. So the question becomes, if our attention shapes reality, and if I am directs our attention, then is it possible that these 2 words are the steering wheel of creation itself? If that's true, then each of us has been holding the key to transformation all along, unknowingly using it, for better or for worse. And this leads us to the next chapter, where we journey back thousands of years into the past to uncover how the ancients guarded, practiced, and passed down the sacred knowledge of I Am. Because to truly understand its power, we must first discover its origins. Since the dawn of civilization, humanity has whispered a sacred truth, that words are not merely sounds, but forces. In ancient temples, hidden scrolls, and mystical chants, the phrase I Am echoed like a divine password. To the untrained, it sounded ordinary, but to those who understood, it was the most guarded of secrets. Travel back to ancient Egypt. On the walls of temples, we find inscriptions not only about gods and pharaohs, but about the essence of self. Egyptian priests taught that to declare I Am was to invoke the divine spark within. I am Ra, the sun that rises. I am Osiris, reborn. These were not metaphors. They believed the speaker became fused with the very energy they declared. The act of saying I am was a ritual of transformation. Now let's cross the desert sands to another sacred land. When Moses encountered the burning bush, he asked for the divine name. The answer shook history. Asher, I am that I am. This was not just a name, it was a declaration of being. Ancient rabbis considered it so sacred, so dangerous in its raw power, that it was rarely spoken aloud. To utter I am was to align with the eternal, to echo the voice of creation itself. Meanwhile, in India, the rishis, sages of the Vedas, spoke another great truth. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the Absolute. This was not arrogance. It was realization. A recognition that the self is not separate from the infinite cosmos. By declaring I am, they dissolved the illusion of separation and merged with the divine. From Buddhist monks who declared, I am peace, to Sufi poets who sang, I am love, to indigenous shamans who invoked their spirit guides with, I am the eagle, I am the river, the same pattern emerges. Across every culture, across every continent, I am was more than grammar. It was a bridge, a portal, a key to transformation. But here's where the mystery deepens. He did so many different cultures, separated by oceans and centuries, arrive at the same secret? Could it be coincidence? Or did they all tap into the same hidden law of existence, that words, especially I am, do not describe reality, they command it? Some traditions guarded the phrase, fearing its misuse. In mystery schools, initiates were trained for years before being allowed to speak I am affirmations aloud. Why? Because they believed an untrained mind could harm itself by misusing the woo. Imagine a single phrase capable of healing or destroying, depending on the words that follow. This was no ordinary knowledge. It was sacred technology. And now, as we leave behind the temples, scrolls, and chants of the past, we step into the modern world. Because today, quantum physics whispers the same truth the ancients declared. Reality is not fixed. It bends to observation. It bends to attention. And when the observer speaks, I am, the universe listens. In the next chapter, we uncover how science itself is beginning to confirm the power of I am, and why it might be the missing link between mind, matter, and the mysteries of creation. For centuries, the ancients proclaimed, "I am shapes reality." But skeptics dismissed it as poetry, mysticism, or spiritual metaphor. Yet today, science, especially quantum physics, is catching up to what the sages already knew. Because the deeper scientists peer into the heart of reality, the stranger it becomes. At the smallest levels of existence, particles don't behave like solid objects. They act like possibilities. In the famous double-slit experiment, scientists discovered something shocking. Particles behave like waves until they are observed. The very act of observation collapses the wave into a single outcome. In other words, the observer changes reality. Now ask yourself, if mere observation shapes matter, what happens when observation is charged with intention, focus, and the declaration of "I am"? Could it be that your words, fused with awareness, act as commands that collapse infinite possibilities into a single lived reality? Modern research in sound and vibration shows that words carry frequency. They don't just pass through the air, they ripple through matter. Japanese researcher Masaru Emoto once exposed water molecules to words and intentions. The results were astonishing. Words like love and gratitude created beautiful, crystalline structures. Words like hate and fear created chaos and distortion. If simple words can rearrange water molecules, and we are 70% water, imagine the impact of repeating "I am" inside your mind, day after day. You're not just speaking, you're tuning your entire being like an instrument. Some physicists now argue that consciousness itself may be fundamental, that without it, the universe remains indeterminate. If consciousness is the sculptor of reality, and "I am" is the command of consciousness, then suddenly, ancient teachings and cutting-edge science converge into one astonishing truth. Your words are not cribbing reality. Your words are deciding reality. But here lies the chilling question. If every "I am" directs energy, then what about the thousands of careless declarations we make every single day? I am stressed. I am unlucky. I am worthless. Could it be that we've been collapsing quantum possibilities into versions of life we don't want, simply because we've been careless with the words that follow "I am"? And if that's true, how many futures have we destroyed with our own tongue? Think of your reality like a mirror. Every "I am" is not just a thought, it's a signal, a vibration you send into the quantum field. And the field responds. It reflects, it returns what you declare. Say "I am abundant," and you begin collapsing futures of prosperity. Say "I am doomed," and you collapse futures of despair. It's not magic, it's physics. Consciousness commands the field, and the field obeys. But here's the hope. Once you understand this law, you stop being a victim of your unconscious declarations. You step into mastery. The ancients called it prayer. Mystics called it invocation. Science may one day call it quantum linguistics. But no matter the name, the truth remains. Your "I am" is the code that programs your reality. And so the question is no longer whether "I am" is powerful. It is. The real question is, are you using it wisely, or is it using you? In the next chapter, we step out of the quantum world and into the human brain itself to see how psychology and neuroscience reveal that "I am" doesn't just change the universe, it rewires you. If quantum physics shows us how "I am" can shape the outer world, psychology reveals how it reshapes the inner world. Because the words we attach to "I am" don't just echo into the universe, They sink deep into the subconscious mind. Psychologists have long understood that the subconscious is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant, whether roses or thorns, will grow. I am confident. I am strong. I am loved. These affirmations build neural pathways, making the brain search for proof. But the same law applies to negativity. I am worthless. I am broken. I am a failure. These are not harmless phrases. They become mental programs, silently shaping identity, decisions, and destiny. Neuroscience confirms this. Every thought triggers neurons to fire, and repeated thoughts strengthen those connections. This is called neuroplasticity. Each time you say, I am capable, your brain literally rewires itself to believe and embody that statement. Each time you say, I am nothing, the brain etches that identity deeper. The subconscious does not argue, it obeys. And because it controls up to 95% of your daily actions, your unconscious I ams quietly dictate the life you live. Consider someone battling years of low self-esteem. They begin a daily practice of affirming, I am worthy. I am enough. I am deserving of love. At first, it feels false, mechanical, but over weeks and months, something shifts. The subconscious adapts, behavior changes, opportunities appear. Why? Because identity always drives action, and action shapes reality. The words following I am are not wishful thinking. They are self-fulfilling prophecies. But here's the danger. What happens when we unconsciously misuse this power? Every sigh of defeat. I am unlucky. I am sick. I am lost. Plant seeds in the subconscious. Seeds that grow into weeds, choking out the life we long for. So the Sursi healing question becomes, are we sabotaging ourselves with our own words? Psychology shows that the most powerful force in human behavior is the need to stay consistent with one's identity. If you say, I am lazy, your subconscious will find ways to make that identity true. If you say, I am disciplined, your actions will slowly align with discipline. We act in accordance with who we believe we are. Change the I am, and you change the self. Change the self, and you change the destiny. Now, modern therapy often uses affirmations, visualization, and identity reframing. But thousands of years before psychology, mystics were already practicing this. Yogis repeated, I am peace. Sufis chanted, I am love. Christians prayed, I am a child of God. Different cultures, same principle. Words shape identity. Identity shapes life. So now a deeper mystery arises. If I am reshapes the brain and rewires the subconscious, and if it also commands the quantum field, then what happens when both inner and outer worlds align with the same declaration? Could I am be the missing link that unites mind, matter, and spirit into one single act of creation? In the next chapter, we explore the shadow side, the hidden dangers of misusing I am, and how these two words can unconsciously imprison us if left unchecked. We've seen how I am can create, heal, and transform. But every great power carries a shadow. The same words that can build your future can also destroy it. Most people use I am unconsciously. I am tired. I am unlucky. I am not good enough. Each phrase may seem harmless, but repeated often enough, it becomes a prison. Invisible walls, built by your own tongue, trapping you inside identities you never chose. The tragedy is not that the world limits us, but that we limit ourselves. Psychologists warn that identity is one of the strongest forces in human behavior. Once you declare, "I am this," your subconscious works tirelessly to make it true. "I am a failure," ensures failure repeats. "I am anxious," reinforces anxiety. "I am cursed," becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The shadow of I am is that it doesn't care whether your declaration serves you or destroys you. It obeys blindly. Worse still, these destructive I ams don't stop with one person. Children absorb the language of their parents. If a parent constantly says, "I am poor, I am powerless," the child often inherits the same script. Thus, generations can live under the same unconscious spell, passing down limiting I ams like a family curse. But here is the haunting question. How much of your life right now is truly yours? And how much is just the echo of someone else's I am? Are you living freely, or are you carrying chains forged by voices that came before you? This shadow doesn't just haunt individuals, it shapes entire cultures. When groups declare, "We are weak, we are oppressed, we are doomed," those identities become collective realities. Wars, poverty, inequality, all can be fueled by unconscious affirmations repeated across generations. What begins as words becomes history. There is another danger too. Not all I am declarations are humble or true. Some are masks of ego. I am superior. I am chosen. I am above others. These identities breed arrogance, division, and conflict. The shadow cuts both ways. One person collapses under "I am nothing," while another destroys others with "I am everything." So what do we do with this shadow? Do we fear it? Do we silence ourselves? No, the answer is awareness. Because once you recognize the destructive I ams you've been repeating, you can begin to rewrite them. Awareness breaks the spell. The prison walls crack. The curse dissolves. So here's the challenge. Will you keep repeating the unconscious I ams that sabotage your life? Or will you take hold of this power consciously and write a new identity? Because in the next chapter, we explore how to harness I am as a tool of deliberate creation, and how two simple words can unlock the destiny you were meant to live. We've seen the light and the shadow of I am. Now we arrive at the turning point, the place where awareness becomes power. Because once you understand the creative force of I am, you are no longer a prisoner of unconscious words. You become the author of your destiny. Most people drift through life on autopilot, speaking I am statements without thought. But the moment you pause, listen, and choose your words deliberately, everything begins to change. I am capable. I am abundant. I am guided. Each statement is like a code, a command to both the subconscious and the quantum field. Unconscious identity traps you. Conscious identity sets you free. There is a simple formula, practiced by mystics, and now supported by psychology. Awareness. Notice the limiting I ams you've been repeating. Replacement. Rewrite them with empowering declarations. Repetition. Speak them daily until the brain accepts them as reality. Emotion. Charge them with feeling, because emotion is the fuel of transformation. When done consistently, This practice doesn't just change your thoughts, it changes who you are. Across cultures, conscious use of I am often took the form of ritual. Egyptian priests declared, I am the light of Ra. Yogis whispered, I am peace. Sufi mystics sang, I am love. These weren't empty words. They were daily practices of identity alignment. Modern science now shows what they instinctively knew. Repetition rewires the brain, reshapes behavior, and reorders reality. But here's the question that should stop us in our tracks. If we truly hold this power, if I am can rewrite destiny, then why do so many people remain stuck? The answer is simple and frightening. Because power unused is power lost. Most never practice. Most never declare. And so they live in cages built by silence, waiting for freedom that only 2 words could have given them. When why? I'll consciously use I am, something remarkable happens. The inner world and the outer world align. The subconscious begins to act in harmony with your declaration. The quantum field begins to reflect it back to you. It is as if the entire universe conspires to fulfill what you boldly claim as true. History is full of people who lived by the power of I am. Leaders, visionaries, and healers often spoke words of identity long before their reality caught up. I am destined for greatness. I am the change. I am the voice for the voiceless. Their declarations became movements. Their identities became legacies. And so the real choice now stands before us. Will you live as a victim of unconscious declarations, or will you take control of the 2 words that create worlds? Because in the final chapter, we'll uncover how to integrate this practice into daily life, and how saying I am with awareness can open the door to the life you were always meant to live. For 6 chapters, we have traveled through mystery and revelation. From the quantum field to the subconscious mind to the shadow of identity and the light of conscious creation. And Anu, everything returns to 2 simple words. I am. Every morning you wake up, every night before you sleep, you are holding the brush that paints your reality. The canvas is your life. The paint is your belief. The brushstroke is your I am. The question is not if you are creating. The question is, what are you creating? Because now you know. Now you understand the weight of words. Now you realize that every I am is not a description. It is a declaration. And with awareness comes responsibility. You can no longer afford to speak unconsciously. You can no longer afford to curse yourself with casual phrases of defeat. You have the power to shift reality, starting with a whisper, starting with I am. But here is the unsettling truth. Most people will hear this and forget. They will walk away and return to their old words, their old patterns, their old prisons. Will you? Or will you be among the few who rise, who remember, who take hold of this ancient quantum psychological key? So today, right now, make a choice. Whisper it, shout it, declare it. I am powerful. I am free. I am enough. Because every time you speak these words, the universe listens, your mind listens, your body listens, and reality bends. So let this not be just another story you heard. Let this be the moment your story changes. Because the truth is eternal. You are not a prisoner. You are not broken. You are not small. You are the author. You are the creator. You are the I am. If this journey has awakened something within you, let it not end here. Carry it forward. Speak your I am consciously. shape your life deliberately. And if this message resonated with you, share it, so others too may awaken Kasabisa Rebe, so together we can explore the deeper mysteries of the human spirit. Because this is only the beginning, and the story of I Am is still being written by you.